Living a stress-free life, it is possible. If you take this exercise and be very mindful or intentional about it, of every problem that is bringing you stress, that is making you not to sleep at night, it could be anything at all. It could be your finances, it could be your marriage, it could be your children, it could be your studies, it could be anything at all that makes you not to sleep at night. I want you to take a pen and paper and write it down. Write all of them in no order. That is the first step. While we are on the first step, I just want to encourage you and say this to you. You can never work on anything or deal with anything if you do not know what it is. So it's so important that you know what it is. And how the mind is made up. It is made up such a way that when we write things down, the mind starts to be productive. In as much as we have screens, we have our phones, and all of these things. When your hand connects with your mind, something wonderful happens. And so write all of them down. What is it that is bringing you stress in this season? Put it on paper. Number 2, write them according to their priorities. Which is that one thing that brings you more stress than the other? Put them down. Perhaps finances is number 1, perhaps marriage is number 1. I don't know, you know better. So write them according to their priority. Number 3, every day, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take this piece of paper that has this list of items or things that bring you stress, and you're going to time yourself on each. Decide how much time you are going to allocate to think about each problem. And I want you to note something on this, is that you need to be very disciplined in the manner in which you're going to apply your time. So let's say, for instance, you decide that you're going to apply 10 minutes on each problem. When 10 minutes is up, your phone has a timer. And so you need to time yourself as you go into engaging these items or these things that are bringing you stress every day. When the time is up, you need to stop yourself from thinking about that issue. Move to the next. Same time. Allocate yourself time. One thing that I know and that I've developed and that I've observed over time is that if we want to be productive in life, we can only allocate 15 minutes of our time into one matter, into thinking about it, into coming up with how we are going to solve that thing. Here's something that is so important. So perhaps before we move to our last point, I just want to say this to you. Maximum 15 minutes, minimum 10 minutes thinking about each problem. We are gearing for productivity and results when we do this. Number 3, every day, without fail, you're going to do this exercise. Now, number 3, you have to ask yourself the following questions in order to know how to tackle these issues. 1, how did it come about? What is the source of the problem? How did this problem come about? How did you find yourself in this situation? Perhaps when it comes to finances, it is because you are not disciplined, you do not stick to a budget. Write that down. Mind you, this is just the paper and yourself. So you've got nobody to be scared of or you don't have to be ashamed, you don't have to be embarrassed, but you need to be sincere in what you are writing down. Number 2, develop your way out. How are you going to deal with this problem? If it's a problem in your marriage, perhaps you are not as prayerful as you need to be. Perhaps you are not a good communicator in your marriage. Finances, you are easily tempted into debt. So how are you going to stop that from happening? Perhaps if it's your children, maybe you don't know how to communicate for results. You are not a listening parent when it comes to your children. You don't apply the word of God when it comes to your children. You just read the word of God for the sake of reading it. So you need to improve on certain things to achieve results. But point number 3, really, it's all about finding out how did you find yourself in that problem. Number 2, who are the key role players in solving that problem? Is it within your control, or it is within God's control, or there is a third party that is involved? Could be your husband, it could be the father of your child, perhaps you had a child before marriage, perhaps you are a single parent. Name these things. Who is in charge? When you have named it like this, every day without fail, for 7 days, work on this problem by timing yourself. We are gearing for productivity, and I wish you well. My name is Nogwazinze Manze. Shalom, peace, and life to you.